Welcome back to Moms on a Mission. I don't know what episode this is, and we may not want to divulge that anymore because we might switch up our recording schedule.
Just have to keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah, we're in the 30s, okay? And that's all you need to know about all things,
I think it's 37.
like our age, our episode number, and all of that, okay? So that's all you need to know.
Because once you get to, is it standard procedure once women get to 40, you just start celebrating your 30 whatever birthday for the X number of time again?
Probably.
So, we could do that with our episodes.
Hey, yes, amen to that.
This is episode number 37 again.
I love it. All right, so I'm excited about this one. So you got to preface it for us. Pastor Chad, because I missed this church. I wasn't at church this day.
It was great. He really kind of dove into the importance of community and doing life together. Mm-hmm. And
I was too at church. I was working the booth. I didn't get to hear I was there, but I didn't get to hear the message.
I just thought kind of his hook and reel in his one particular statement was that we need people that have permission to stick their nose into our business.
Yes.
And I was like, I feel like that would make a great episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that everybody loves that concept.
Right.
But I do think that it's necessary.
Yeah. No, I love that thought because we've talked about community, we've talked about letting people in.
Yeah.
And this just kind of drives that home. And really, I love the way he puts things. He's very upfront,
very to the point.
Yeah, Pastor Chad doesn't sugarcoat things. Nope. And so the way that he put that of you got to have people in your life that you're willing to let them stick their nose in your business.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep, he's a toe stepper and he's not sorry about it.
Yeah, no, and that's what makes him great. It's that, he's a great preacher and a great pastor. So
agreed.
Okay, so we want to kick off with a prayer.
Yep. You want to kick us off?
Let's do it.
Close your eyes.
All right. I loved, you have to know, if you did not understand that reference, last week I shouldn't say last week because we're going to start mixing some stuff up. But in one previously in one of our episodes, producer Daniel put in, when we started to pray, he put in close your eyes, and it just was black screen with letters that said close your eyes. And I legit laughed out loud when I saw it.
I did too.
It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So anyway, so close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Lord, we just come to you today in just being so grateful. We've had so many things going on around us. We have had crazy weather and crazy storms, no power in our area for days. And you have just absolutely shrouded us, blessed us, taken care of us, and gotten our families and our friends and our community through a hard time. Lord, we just ask that you allow our listeners to hear your voice through us today. We want to make sure that they understand that it's okay to let people in and to build a little community around them. It's important. We know it's what you call us to do. So Lord, just let everyone hear our voice and hear your voice through us. We are so grateful. We know how blessed that we are. We are so thankful to be able to be here today and have this time together. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, so just a little background there. So we're in Georgia right now. This is January 29th, 2026, when we're recording this. And we've just gotten through an ice-pocalypse.
Storm Fern.
Yeah, Fern. Yeah, Storm Fern. It was just it really wasn't a big, we had a snow event with a couple of feet of snow, nothing like that. But we had rain, then our temperatures plummeted, ice encapsulated everything.
Power lines.
Yes. And when ice encapsulates trees, they explode.
Mm-hmm.
And we had down trees, it was wild. Just they're split completely in half in weird places and all over the power lines.
I don't think my kids truly understood how heavy ice is and how damaging it can truly be.
So I know this great news outlet. It's called it used to be Now Habersham.
Now they're Now Georgia.
Now Georgia. Yep. Amazing news outlet. If you
don't follow them, you should.
Yep. And they made it known like they like put into perspective of like what actual, like how they measure ice and the weight of like what that actually does.
It's astronomical.
It's so crazy how heavy ice actually becomes to, plants and trees and things like that. And you could see like when I stepped out the morning after it had the major ice, the word burdened came to mind.
Yeah.
The trees were just so heavy and like drooping with weight under this ice. It was wild looking. We got incredible pictures and things like that, but it affected the community deeply because I was out of power for like I was coming up on 4 days. I got my power back 9 p.m. on that third day.
I think we were like in the neighborhood here, it was like 54 hours.
Okay.
And then it came back on. It was restored by, I want to say 2:00 that afternoon. And then as we went into the evening, it went consistently on and off for several more hours because I'm sure, there was a tree or something, still hitting a line.
Yeah. Well, and they go through like switching too. Like when they're trying to put lines back up, they switch off, off and on different ways, like up at the top of the towers.
These were, I don't know, it was probably a dozen or so times.
It's crazy.
That it was on and off.
And it actually was a realization for my kids. Abel was like, it's scary how dependent on power we are, on electricity. I was like, I know it really is. It makes you really realize how weak we are without it these days. And, it's not even, it's really becomes more about the supplies because, you can kind of make do in a lot of situations. But once you start running low on wood, once you start running low on gasoline, and then the whole back of my neighborhood, there was 6 homes. They were completely stuck without you completely relying on the 3 of us in the front. They were up a creek. Yeah. They could not get out to go to the gas station to get gas. They couldn't get the propane tanks, couldn't get back to them to refill tanks.
Yeah.
They had no power. So, and our entire neighborhood we each have our own well. Well, without power, your well pump doesn't work. So you don't get water out of a well.
Right.
It's just all of these little things where it's like, you really.
Chain reaction.
And that kind of leads us right into this because if you don't have that community built, now all of a sudden you're stuck in the back of the neighborhood with a tree in front and you can't get anywhere and you need resources like your generator's out of gas. Well, it's time to start building that community.
Yep. Which, you're exactly right. My father-in-law went and got several gas canisters refilled for our neighbors because they either couldn't get out or didn't feel safe getting out.
Yep.
And, it's just nice to be able to talk to the folks here that are closest and, not only check on them, but, we're blessed that we have a whole home generator out here. And so we knew some people down the street that were just operating off of a regular generator.
Everybody I knew and we were too, just regular
a regular one where they were having to switch between what they had plugged in at the time. So it was like, sometimes it was the refrigerator.
Right.
And then sometimes it was the TV and just having to go back and forth.
The heaters was the biggest thing because they pull a ton of amps.
Yeah.
So if you have to have your heater on with your fridge at the same time, and maybe, you have your microwave or whatever, because we don't have a fireplace. Now we had a little cheat code that where you put this little piece in the back of your meter and it allows you lose the drop cords after that. So you don't have to use drop cords when you have this particular piece that goes in the back of the meter. It stops any sort of backfeed that can come into the meter and actually kill your lineman.
Oh, that's nice.
And then it puts a complete stop to that. And then the other thing is your generator is into your panel. So you can't use everything at once, but you can switch your switches on and off depending on what you need. So like if we needed to heat the living room, we had little oil heaters plugged in. So we could turn those on for a few hours and, take the chill off the living room. And then we could plug, one in upstairs and have it take the chill off the bedroom right before bed. And, we still did do swapping, but we weren't plugging things in and out. And you don't run that, they call those suicide cords. Yeah. You don't run that risk. So Yeah. So, I mean, it's just everybody had their own little way of doing everything.
Yep.
Each house was a little different. But it is wild. And you really do figure out like, we can't do this life alone. We just can't.
Nope. It's one of the things that we hear probably more consistently than anything else, I would say, at church and within our sermons, is that we weren't made to do life alone.
Yep.
I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, at first, or maybe if you're new to church or whatever, I think it's real easy to go, I'm fine.
Right. Yeah.
I'm fine doing life alone.
Mm-hmm.
We're not.
No.
It's harder. It's not as much fun. It's not as pleasant. And in a situation like this, how are you going to do everything alone?
Yeah, you just can't. You have to be able to depend on some people.
Yeah, you do. And that's just the reality of it is, you may not want to ask for help or have anyone hold you accountable for things, but like it really is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think that it is better.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially, I think as you get older, you don't necessarily have a huge group. Like in high school, you might have 15 kids that hang out together a lot, like you're on teams together or you are in student council or, whatever the case, you have classes. So you're surrounded by people all the time, which allows for larger groups. But then when you leave school, and even as an adult, maybe if you have more of a, maybe you have a corporate job or something like that, where you really do, you spend your time in the same place every day, then that might look a little different for you too. But a lot of times I know, especially as moms, if we leave that workforce or, and especially the workforce, really, you lose a lot of touch with people.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to stay at home and do life like with your husband, of course, but then maybe he travels. Maybe you guys are going through a hard time. Then you really start to kind of look around and think, okay,
who do I have?
Yeah. I mean, who can I call? When I'm upset, he's upset me, he's hurt me, might hurt my feelings, like who can I call to like really like, we need to flesh this out,
Talk this through with. Yeah.
And like you made a good point of like, it's not just about having somebody to call, but it's about somebody to be like, yo, sis, you in the wrong on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. To have the people that truly, I'm sure we all have somebody that we could call that would be willing to like validate why we feel the way that we feel.
For sure.
But to be able to have somebody that you can call and talk this through with, that it's actually going to hold you accountable, give you the feedback, maybe not even that you want to hear,
mm-hmm.
but that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are, as I have gotten older, like so much more valuable to me and truly represent quality over quantity of friends.
Yeah.
And I think I have said before that I'm a big proponent of my favorite people love my favorite people.
Yeah.
And that means that they also get to speak into my children's lives.
Yeah.
Which to me, it's so meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know we've said before, you show me your 5 closest friends, I'll show you your future.
Right.
And I think that that's so impactful for not only me, but for my boys.
Oh, yeah.
And the quality of kids and people that they're around is just as important as who you and I are around.
Right.
For a lot of reasons. But I have a couple of my notes are sometimes we tend to confuse with loving everyone with giving everyone access. Because we are called to love everyone,
mm-hmm.
which is still easier said than done sometimes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody gets access.
Right.
I can love you and treat you with respect and be kind,
mm-hmm.
but it still doesn't mean that you get like an inside look or the ability
mm-hmm.
to hold me accountable, share your thoughts or your wisdom with me.
Right.
But I'm not going to treat you any differently.
No, absolutely not. But you don't necessarily get to speak into my marriage. You don't get to speak into my children. Yeah, we, definitely. Those are very
specific.
Yes, very specific things.
People and and groups. Let's see, what else did I have written down here?
One thing that I pulled, I watched, his sermon was called The Godly Wife. It's from Lake Point Church, and they have a great YouTube channel. Their pastor, he's hilarious.
Which church is it?
It's called Lake Point Church.
Okay.
They have a YouTube channel. I have it actually pulled up. The sermon title was How to Be a Godly Christian Wife. And it was part of their Fight for Your Family series. Pastor Josh Howerton is the one that does it.
I love him.
He is so funny.
I didn't realize that was the Lake Point that you were referencing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know who you're talking about.
Well, and I didn't know his name. I just knew the name of the church.
Okay.
So he did this series, and he was hilarious. And one of the things though that I honestly don't know that I've really heard a man speak to this particular point. In his sermon for the Godly Christian Wife, which if you are a man or a woman, you should listen to this one. He has one for the guys too. But it's so funny, and it was so relatable. And it's, like I said, it's part of their series, Fight for Your Family. So it was all family related. He preached this at church. So he wasn't just preaching to a room full of women, and he wasn't just preaching to a room full of men.
Gotcha. This was an actual sermon.
Yes. And he had said, now I'm going to go off, the norm here, because a lot of times when we do these series, the pastor will preach to the men and the pastor's wife preaches to the women. And he said, we're not doing that today. He said, you're going to get me, a man. I'm well aware I'm not a woman, but I'm going to preach to the ladies today.
Listen up, ladies.
Yes. And I absolutely loved it. Anyways, I'm a little off track here, but one of the things he says is, I love when my wife goes with her true group of friends. She has like 4 girls that they're friends. And he said, I genuinely love it. He said, whatever they talk about, she comes home refreshed, happy. She's had a good time, and not like we went to Wine Wednesday kind of fun.
Sure. She
She comes back feeling better. She feels more fulfilled. They've talked through some of the issues. And he said, I trust these women because a lot of times I think we have our significant other will have friends that you're like, they're those folks. Like, you have a good time with them. You've known them forever, but you don't necessarily want them talking to your husband about your marriage.
Sure. Yep.
And he was like, these girls, I want them talking to my wife about our marriage, because they also have good marriages. They go to church. They see things the way that we do. And so they're not going to, she's not going to go to them with a marital problem and then be like, oh, girl, and trash me. He's like, I know they're not.
1,000%. It's like you don't take marriage advice from somebody that's been divorced a dozen times.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and he was like, they truly speak life into her. And when she comes home, she has some solutions. And I'm like, I've never heard a guy really talk about that, about like your girlfriend group, and this is funny. I don't even know if you know this. I saw Josh several weeks ago at church. Like, your husband, Josh, we passed each other, and he was like, hey, I want to tell you, thanks for being such a good friend to Laura.
Aww.
You don't act crazy. And he's like, you calm, you're a good friend to her.
Good biblical advice.
It's like, thank you.
and I'm sure, absolutely, that means a lot, because if you and I went and had brunch, it would not be a bash our husband session. Like, that's not what we would talk about.
Yep.
Ever. It wouldn't be a bash anybody session.
No.
That's just not what we would communicate over. And I think that is so important, because there's not really anybody that I can be on the phone and Josh will go, who are you talking to? And I'll answer him. And there's nobody that he's like,
yeah.
And just, goes into the other room or whatever. Typically it's put on speaker, hey, so-and-so, hey, Randy, you know. It's typically who it is, or my friend Cindy, that is Maddox's best buddy. That's his mom.
Yeah.
And there's oftentimes that we'll talk, she'll call or whatever. And it's just, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Yes. Okay. We need to say prayers for this, this, and this.
Oh,
Like,
that's
okay,
awesome.
let's knock it out. And then, she may get busy at work or whatever, and we'll have to hang up, chat again later. But I also love having people that, one, I can send prayer requests to.
Mm-hmm.
You, one of them, with family issue going on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness we've got a good report. We're waiting for one more good report on that. But just knowing that I can text you, producer Daniel, I know he's not a mama, but it's still a person that I know I can reach out to,
right,
and ask for prayers, anything really, but prayer is so important.
mm-hmm.
And I know that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to get put on the back burner. You're not going to say, send in love and prayers in a text message,
right,
and leave it at that. Like, I know that you're going to rattle something off.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be meaningful. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
But I also like being that person to somebody else.
Totally.
Like, if you text me and ask me for a prayer request, I'm probably going to sit there and type it out. And like you did it with my mother-in-law the other day. And it's just like, it's not that it takes a long time, but it's so meaningful.
Yeah.
And to have those people, to me, just it's life-changing.
Yeah. One of our pastors actually taught my husband that at church. Mike Thomas. Good grief. I couldn't think of his last name for a second. Mike Thomas had actually, he was with Matt one day at the free food giveaway, and somebody said, hey, say a little prayer for so-and-so. And he said, Mike stopped everybody dead in their tracks. He's like, stop, everybody stop. He's like, we're going to say a prayer. And they prayed for this person. He said, I'm a firm believer. If I said I'm going to pray for somebody, I got to do it right now, because I might forget later, or I may not do it. And Matt was like, I genuinely loved that, because now if you ask Pastor Mike to pray for you,
he's going to do it.
He's going to pray for you.
Like, he's going to do it now, right then and there.
Yes. And sometimes when I get messages or I see something on Facebook, I immediately I'll just put the phone right here and I say the prayer so that I know I did it for real. And it is huge to have people that that will pray for you and over you and for anything that you need. And you don't feel ashamed to, or funny
reserved
about asking them to do stuff like that. And you had mentioned that Pastor Chad was like, you got to be able to have people around you that will, what did he say?
Stick their nose in your business.
Yes. And be okay with it.
Yeah. Like, I can't ask you to come and hold me accountable and be one of those people and then get mad at you when you've gone, hey, hold on. We need to stop. We need to back up. We need to reevaluate this. Like, I can't get mad at you for doing exactly what I've asked you to do.
Right.
But I think there's also an importance factor too of if you see me, maybe not if you see me, if I feel like you're leading me astray, or the things that you're doing, the decisions that you're making, like if you're causing me to stumble, I have to be able to go, hey, can't be around you right now.
Right.
And it's for this reason. But you have to be able to be bold and courageous enough to be able to say that to somebody. Yeah. Especially if you're doing life with them. I just think it takes a lot, and they might not like to hear it. Right. But it may be exactly what they need to hear to go, oh, okay, well, I've veered off a little bit. I need to come back, because there's a gentleman, and I may have referenced this on here, I don't remember, but he says, with your friends, you guys both need to be chasing after Jesus together. You need to be walking the path, parallel. Right. And if your friend veers off, you can grab them and go, hey, come back this way, because we
rumble strip.
Yeah, we've got a destination. But you tell them, if you continue to go this way, I will not follow you. And his words are, because I'm married to the path, not the partner. And I just think that is so powerful. Yeah. Yeah. This is the thing too about okay, I was raised Catholic, so we don't do this whole small group thing. Okay. Right. This is very, Church of God, they do small groups and all this kind of stuff. And at first I was like, I felt like everybody else. I'm like, whatever. And then the first couple of times I heard the sermon about small groups, I was like,
well, they just want people to sign up for their small groups. I don't really know what I thought the draw was. It's not like they're making money from the
But did you
small
hesitate
group.
to sign up for one for a while?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like forever. Like it took me a long time to really like get in there and like lead a group.
Once you jumped in,
oh yeah,
have
now
you ever not been in one since you started?
Mm-mm.
See, that's me neither.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like you can have your friends, but if you're on a Christian walk or and you know, really kind of moving toward a time in life, a place in life, a place in life where you want to be, I think knowing that you have those church-based people is key, because not that they're any better than anyone else, not that they, you know, there's nothing better about anybody just because they go to church.
Sure. No,
however, there is this thing that if you are going to these people for help or for advice, or maybe you're not like, hey, I need help with this, but they're lifting you up and helping you walk along your path. A lot of times, if they're biblically based, you may be able to trust that they are taking their context from what they know is biblical, and not their opinion.
Yeah.
And like that kind of hit me a while back. I was talking to somebody about marriage and stuff like that, and they were feeling hurt. And they're like, you know, how can I like fix this? You know, like I'm in a hard spot. And I was like, I don't know, because I get what you're saying, but what I can tell you is what the Bible says about this. Who cares what I think?
Right.
Because I totally got where she was coming from. I was totally empathetic with where she was at. The thing was, there is some pretty clear biblical guidelines on that. And I was blessed enough to be able to reference those in the moment.
Yeah.
And so that took that off my shoulders of like, this is not my opinion, because I get it, girl. I totally get it where you're at. And what you're feeling is legit. But there is some biblical things that we can apply here that can help you move forward. Yeah. And like, so if you know that those people are in the same area as you, they're hearing the same things, they're reading the same, you know, they're hearing the same sermons, the same messages, they're reading the same book, scripture, everything, then you know that, okay, this is not just this person's opinion. We're having some real advice here, not just what they think of the situation.
Yeah. Encouraging obedience over, just continuing to encourage comfort, I guess.
Right.
Because I think it would be real easy for us to go, you know, hey, are you one of those friends that I can tell anything to, and you're going to tell me back, you know, what I want to hear?
Right.
Even if it's sinful, you know, whatever it may be, just to be one of those friends? Or are you going to put your foot down and go, absolutely not?
Right.
You know, I will not stand for that. I will not encourage you to do that. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a hard left and we're going to go this way.
Right.
And to have somebody that will just drag you along that biblical path, even when it's hard, you're right. Even when it's not what I necessarily want to do.
Right.
I just think it makes a world of difference for a bunch of those reasons. But it's real easy to fall into what is like the worldly thing now. Follow your heart,
right?
Your truth.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm. And it doesn't say any of those things in the Bible.
No, it doesn't.
It always talks about God's word, inner discipline, separating yourself from the flesh, earthly and worldly needs versus,
there is nothing about your truth,
right.
my truth.
No.
But I think that there have been whatever groups or friends that have just continued to go, oh yeah, your truth.
Right.
Instead of putting their foot down and going, that's a crock.
Right.
That is not even close to accurate. You just continue to kind of push people and handhold and coddle. And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my friends to do that to me.
Yeah, no, definitely not. There's a note I have here too of like, and this goes along with like our small group stuff. Hey, because, stepping into a small group, especially for men, I think I think it's getting easier, especially like for that I see at our church. It's getting easier because there's a ton of men's groups.
Yeah.
These guys have stepped up to the plate and it's amazing. Matt has been through several of them now at this point, and he loves them.
Has he done Model Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He would have never thought, I used to be the one that was like, oh, we should do that. Let's get involved. Let's do this. And he's like, oh, I don't want to commit to that. Oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, whatever. And now he's like, I signed up for that group. What are you doing?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm in that man's group. Like he absolutely loved it. And he really felt like he learned things from a men's perspective that there was nowhere else that he had learned that previously and can learn it right now. They're just, those conversations were not being had. They were not being taught. And those guys were sitting in a room once a week talking it out. And he loved that. So I think like stepping in sometimes can be really intimidating. Like, I help lead Momco, and I can't tell you, every single woman in the group was like, I almost didn't come because they don't want to walk in the room. Like they're terrified to walk in the room and sit down at a table with people that they don't know. And like, I've even heard people, well, actually on like the Momco website right now, there's talk and like, they're like breaking down, like, we never want to be that, nasty mom group,
right.
Nasty mom culture, because we can get very cliquey. And so, my gosh, that your Momco group has been around for 4 semesters already. Oh, everybody knows everybody. I can't step into that group, so
like the fear of being new.
Yes.
And I feel like it's one of two things. Like you can either sit down at a table with anybody and just chit chat away.
Me.
Same. Or like you're terrified.
Yeah. Yep. I'm debilitatingly too. Not just like, oh, they're being a scaredy cat. I mean, we're talking, the chest gets tight, the breathing, the sweating, like going into.
I hate that anybody experiences that.
I know. I have a friend. When we did ladies' night, she struggled so bad just because there was just so many people. We linked arms, we chatted, and she had a great time. But at first, she was sitting on the curb because she was ready to go. It was, it was just too much. It's not fake. It's not something that, people are like, oh, I just don't want to be here. So they're, it's
and
not
it's so
that
important for us to be those people that go, hey, are you okay?
Right.
Hey, let's go inside.
Yeah.
Not just,
Got you, girl.
I don't want to be the person that just walks by them and like wonder what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
I do not want to be that person.
Yes. But I like all of that to say, if you are feeling that way and you just are like, I just can't walk into that group, make your own.
Yeah.
Like start your own.
Baby steps.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a church group. Like, reach out and say, hey, I love to walk. Would anybody want to walk with me? What day works for you? Or, anything, just knowing that you have like some people around you. But like I said, I do think there is that biblical perspective from those church folks in particular that are really, really important because, and there's a lot of things too culturally, like I have a friend that they don't drink at all, but like everybody, like a lot of their outside friends do. And it's not that they have a problem with it, but like when they feel at home and like with because we have a small group, it's like, these are my people. Yeah. Like there's no worry about any kind of judgment or talking or whispering or, or maybe we should just relax. Maybe we're being too uptight. No.
Yeah.
Like these are your people right here. And you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Comfort zone.
Yeah. It's so like being able to find a few of those people, it is so important to truly walk through life doing that.
Yes. I guess a couple other things to reference from some of my notes are some of it is why the wrong access could be harmful. And we kind of touched on this. Like, I don't want voices that affirm sin in my life. I don't want friends who validate bitterness. I don't want people who discourage obedience or those who shame instead of restore. I want people that they're gentle but firm in the truth.
Yeah.
And I want people that can lovingly tell me no, challenge me spiritually, and like we said, who pray with me versus just talk with me, and those that truly know the real me.
Yeah.
And
yes, Pastor Chad said it so well. He's like, you got to be able to take the mask off sometimes. Because he was like, I can get up here on this platform and I can preach. He said, I can lead y'all wherever I want to go. Like I can say all these things, but he's like, in my small group, like they have to be real close to me. They have to see like my real face.
Exactly the same. I'm in his small group and he is exactly the same on the stage as in his living room. And it's one of the reasons why I love him and Gabby so much is that get what you get all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, people have bad days or you might catch them in a bad moment. But overall, and I can say this, confidently that everyone in our group they're the same.
Yeah.
And I love what they stand for. And it's just, I don't feel like anybody puts on a mask to be there with us.
Yeah.
At church, they're the same.
Yeah.
In a restaurant, they're the same. In Chad's living room, they're the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. And that shows that that's allowed in the church and in that group of people. You're allowed to be who you really are. This and I think this is kind of where some of this comes from. Like you think about like a celebrity personality or something like that, and they have, they do these outlandish speeches or, they're in the spotlight and they, are on constantly. And then they commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you're like,
what happened?
How could that be? Well, that's because this on stage was an act and they were absolutely broken in real life. But they were surrounded by people who are telling them, you're incredible. Yeah. Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh, but they're not really seeing that person. That person has just become a puppet.
Yeah.
And
just an act.
Yeah. And so like, you never to be able to truly be, on a platform in front of people and then step off of that platform and genuinely be who you are with these few people, that's priceless.
Yeah.
So, I think that how awesome. Cause you look at these celebrities, they have everything is at their fingertips. There's no resource that they could not obtain and they take their own life.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we see it far too often.
Oh yeah. And that's because there cannot be anything genuine going on around them because they are hiding it and the people around them aren't seeing it because they don't really know them. I mean, you even think about like the comedian, he's still alive. Don't get me wrong. But the one that talked like this, he used to be with Jeff Foxworthy. He was like the real redneck guy.
Bill Ingalls?
No, not him. The real
Larry the Cable Guy?
Yeah. Larry the Cable Guy. He does not have that accent. That's a character that he took on. Like even right down to that kind of stuff, And so imagine how different that man is in real life.
But Jeff Foxworthy's accent is real.
Yes, it's real. Yeah, I've met him and it's real.
And he is a shining example of a biblical man.
Yes.
Did you know this?
I know that he pastors people, addicts. I know that's one of the things he does.
Homeless or addicts or something in Atlanta, and has for many years.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea until somewhat recently. I guess, I learned about this a couple years ago, but it was just like, wow, okay.
Because the hashtag family goals.
Yeah, that's right.
Our fave podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so there was these, I have a couple of, sorry, I went way up on the mic, practical ways to start letting people in. I thought this was kind of cool because it's actionable. Join something before you feel ready.
Ooh, yeah.
Amen. Yep. Okay, I've seen the groups. I know what they're offering. So next semester, do it now. Do it now. Put your name on that list.
Do it this semester. Jump in.
Say yes to coffee. It's so easy to be like, oh, I can't. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Make the time for it.
And this is key. If you're somebody that you might have a limited window, just make that known.
Yeah.
Go have the coffee, but be like, I literally have 30 minutes. Yeah. I didn't want to skip this, but I have to leave at 12:30. Mm-hmm. That's okay. That's totally fine. Still say yes. Be honest when people ask you how you are, with a side note, not the person passing you on the street.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Have you met those people? They're like, well, you're like, oh boy.
I opened up a can here.
Yes. This is for your people. Ask for prayer, show up consistently. And, I don't like this one.
What is it?
Don't overshare, but do be real. Overshare, sister.
Yeah. I think we're team overshare with all the things.
Yeah, I do too. Overshare. That's because that's who you really are.
Yeah.
That one's not legit.
Cross that one out.
All right. So I have Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 10. 2 are better than 1. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Okay. This came from, and learned this straight out of Pastor Chad's sermon. He was talking about how Solomon was the one that talks about helping each other up. 2 is better than 1. And 3 ropes tied together is very hard to break. Mm-hmm. And he was like, to this day, Solomon is considered one of the wisest people that has ever walked the earth. Mm-hmm. That this is what he says. If either of them falls down, one can help the other.
Yes. And is this the same reference of, I pity the person that doesn't have.
I pity the fool, but I pity the fool.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Actually, Pastor Jay did his Mr. T voice in his sermon last weekend. So it's funny that you said that. But of course, I think one of the most fitting here and one of the more well-known scriptures in the Bible is Proverbs 27:17, where iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
And as one person sharpens another. Mm-hmm. I just in kind of to kind of wrap things up on my end, I just had that accountability is a gift, not a weakness, and that God often answers prayers for growth through people.
Yes.
And so I love what you said about, jumping into something before you're ready, because you don't know what sort of growth you stand to gain from doing it now.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Do it before you're ready. I love that one, because that is true. You do tend to kind of look around and want to be in the wings for a while before you jump in, and there's just no need for it. You're just missing out on good stuff.
That's right.
You're just missing out. So, and there's also kind of think about this from, if you're business minded, maybe, what, you going to run a company alone?
No,
you can't. Mm-mm. You can't do it. You need people. And this is something that I just feel like it needs to be said. It's okay to be like the person that thought of the idea and not the one that executes any of it. If you can find people, okay, this is where I'm weak. I don't ask for people or help or stuff like that. But to be somebody who is like, I have this idea and I need you and you and you and you and you to help me. And I think that, let's find where you're super strong and let those people run, unleash them in the thing that they are so good at. Doesn't make you look bad.
No.
It makes everybody look good.
Yeah.
And
but delegating tasks is not, I don't think it comes natural.
No, it does not come naturally. I have a friend who it does come naturally to, and she's incredible at it. And this is what she does. She gathers her people. She doesn't offer to compensate them or whatever. She knows that her friends and the people around her, what they're good at. She knows that they will help her out. She gathers them together and she walks through and just sees what everyone's doing and tells them that that's great and tweaks the bow. And she's done nothing but orchestrate everything, which is key. I'm not saying that's not a big job, but she didn't put her hands on the tablecloths.
Yeah,
she
that's
didn't
a gift.
make all the phone calls. She did not do the things. She just brought all the people together. And it's such an amazing skill.
Yes, it is. It's really underrated skill.
And she
if you ask
doesn't
me.
try to control you either. She's not like, well, did you do this and this and this? She'll check in with you. Hey, where are we at? But she allows you to do what you're really good at. And
I love that.
Like, God, I'm so envious
Goals.
of that. Yes. So like when you do find those people, don't feel like they're going to overshadow you, or if they're good at something you wish you were good at, let them run,
them be.
baby. Like,
Yep,
and just
absolutely.
improve you. Like,
Yep.
yes. So, all right. We know how important it is to have people around you, which is why we have our amazing producer, Stay Stoked Creative Co. We cannot do any of this without him because this is where he lives. This is what he's good at. So if you want to know more about him and his production company, you can find more about that in the information below. And listen, we didn't even talk about the feedback we got online.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly, you guys blew us out of the water with I got to say this carefully. White SUV moms. If you flip those words around, we can get on a real bad rabbit trail there.
Sure can.
And that would be totally unintentional. So producer Daniel made this amazing graphic. It pulled everybody in and everybody answered us. We had so much feedback on like having the white car mom club. And
There's so many of us that are in the club.
yes, like, and of all different like brands and all that stuff. It was so cool to talk with everybody and like, everybody some gave their like actual story of like, first I had this, then I had this, like I think somebody had 5 white cars that she had. Like, it's just so cool. Thank you guys so much for that feedback. That was awesome to engage with and, just talk about and know that like there's folks out there, they're talking to us. We love that.
We do love that.
So we so appreciated that. And then we have a goal this year. We have a YouTube channel but a lot of our views don't actually, even though we're on video, don't come through our YouTube channel. And so we're trying to build that up a little bit. We love our Instagram and our Facebook and Spotify, like you guys are killing it for us and we so appreciate that. But just know we do have a YouTube channel and our goal this year is 10,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2026. That's our goal.
Yep. God
So
honors
help
the bold
us
prayers.
get there. Yes. So help us get there. You can find, Moms on a Mission on, remember we are the tan and pink logo. There's a couple of us. We're the tan and pink logo on YouTube. And subscribe so you can get video and updates from there as well. Yeah. We appreciate you guys so much. We hope you have a wonderful week and we will see you next time.
Thank you guys. Be blessed.
See ya.